only matter I do not take seriously, boy, is you. Your politics bore me. Your demeanor is that of a pouty child.
Welcome to Tobar's Realm. Today I think I'm gonna start on an infinity gauntlet from the Marvel movies. I've just been working on getting some patterns and kind of copying pictures I see of it online. I'm just using this welding glove as to be the inside of it, and made the patterns for it out of beer box cardboard and kind of just tacked it together to see, working on the shape of the patterns. Kind of stopped at the fingers. I don't need to do all those to get it done, but anyway, now that I got the majority of the patterns pretty much figured out, I'm going to start cutting it out of 18 gauge sheet metal and forming it. Kind of be the infinity gauntlet with a medieval twist on it, because it's not going to be gold colored and stuff, but I think it'll turn out good. I'm going to take this apart and start on this hand piece that goes all the way around. That'll be my starting spot. Alright, I got my pattern cut out for the main hand piece here. I left it a little long on the ends just because then I can cut it off at the right length. So I'm just going to work on getting it basically this shape. Start off with the back of the hand on the railroad anvil, and then use this tighter one to get that curve around the side. So get started on that. Alright, I got this first piece basically shaped pretty close to where I'm going to want it. Just making sure that the pattern's right, it lines up. So that's the extra I left on there. That line on there is about where they should meet up. But what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go back and put a rolled edge all the way around. Maybe not on the knuckles, but all the rest of this I'm just going to use a chisel and do a little line right on the inside of it, bend that over to put a rolled edge on this. Alright, just working on chiseling around the edge. I just put a line about 1/8 of an inch in, and now I'm just going with my chisel. This was a regular chisel, I just softened the edge on. Just use that with this wooden anvil with a little groove cut in it and chisel that line all the way around. Alright, I got it chiseled all the way around where I'm going to roll the edge. Now I'm just starting to roll it, and you want to make sure you're rolling it over, not just folding it over, because I want to get a nice thick edge here. And I'm going to go back and chisel the inside too, so I don't have to worry about closing it all the way up, but continue working that around. Alright, I rolled the edge on the parts I wanted, basically the whole thing except for the knuckle part, so that went pretty good. So now I need to go back and I'm going to chisel a line right on the inside here, and that'll close up that roll and put a nice line right along the edge. So just use my anvil and that, well, the chisel's over there, but just gonna chisel a line right along the edge. Alright, just chiseled the line on this roll here so you can see the difference, and that closes up that rolled edge nicely. So continue on chiseling those lines in on the rest of this. Alright, moving forward here, I got this second piece pretty much done and edges rolled and chiseled. Pretty close to where I want it. Once I rivet it, I'll get it snugged in there nice and tight. So now I think it's time to move on to this bigger part here and then do these wrist pieces. So I'll take this apart and get this big piece cut out. Alright, I got the cuff part cut out and cleaned up and just put the line where I'm going to fold that edge over. So before I bend it all the way around, I got to get that chiseled and bent over and chisel the line in the other side. So I'm going to start on that now. Alright, I got the edge chiseled and bent over there. Got this one all the way rolled over. Have not done the other side yet. Just continuing on to bend this on over. Alright, moving on here. I got the hand part pretty much where I want it. Got this part formed, it's close. Haven't riveted anything together yet on that. Got this part done and did rivet that together. So now I'm going to move on to the piece that goes between the hand and the arm. Get that kind of shape and put the roll around. And these other pieces that kind of go around on here. So start on those. Alright, moving onward here, I got the other wrist pieces. I got this one done and ready to punch the hole for the rivet on that one. So that'll fit on there. Go beneath the hand piece. Haven't quite gotten to the point of riveting the thumb piece on. And these will go, let's see, it's the other side. These will go on here. I haven't bent them yet, but for now I think I'm going to get that rivet hole set. So let's do that. Alright, moving along here. I got the holes punched for where those rivets are going to go. I just got some nails in here right now, kind of holding it together. I'll probably use these as the rivets. I'll just cut them off and peen them over to use them for that. And started working on the part that's decorative on the back here. That's going pretty well. I chiseled the back just to add this line here, and then I chiseled the front with the anvil backing it, so just to make some lines in it. So that went pretty good. And now I'm going to add the ones that go on the side. So I'm just going to cut out some strips out of here, roll the edges on that, and essentially do the same thing as I did on this one. Get those cut out and rolled. Alright, I've been working on getting these little side pieces done. They're pretty good. Not perfect, but I'm satisfied. Got the holes drilled where I'm going to rivet them on there. This one's ready to go. The other side's ready. Got some of the rivet holes ready to do on this piece. And now I'm gonna do some little lines on the inside here. It doesn't quite symmetrical with that, but I kind of had to follow the line of the seam here, so I'm gonna chisel those lines in like I did on these, and then I'm gonna have to do some on here. I don't know, I'll check the pictures out and see. I know there's some like angled ones on here, but for now I'm just gonna get these ones put in. Alright, I got all those lines chiseled in. Just got it tacked together right now. So the hard part on this part is basically done. Turned out pretty good. I could have done a little better, but overall satisfied with that. So I think on this piece I need to figure out, I'm gonna rivet some leather straps right about here to approximately, I don't know, not quite halfway down, but that's what'll hold that to there. So I need to get those holes there, figure out the leather straps. They'll need to be wide enough that I can get that gem part in the middle, but then I think I'll move on to the thumb. Not too bad. Alright, moving ahead here on the thumb. Got this first couple pieces made. And this piece will go on there. Got the thumb knuckle piece just about finished. I'll adjust the edges here once everything's in place. Now I'm working on the tip of the thumb, so I'm not sure. I think I'll try to do it like this so it wraps around. It'll be like that. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. If I don't like it, I'll change it. I'll do it different. Alright, I pretty much got the thumb done here. This piece will be attached right there. I might need to adjust these little tabs that it attaches to. It might be a little too tight there, but thumb's looking good. I just put a few little tack welds together there and sanded it off to make it one piece, but I think that's pretty good. So now to move on to the fingers. I'm not sure, I'll have to figure out how to span that right there for articulation, but it's coming together pretty good. Alright, well I basically got the thumb pieces done and all formed and ready to rivet. So moving on to the fingers. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to attach the finger pieces to the glove part. I just kind of marked where the gems are going to go, and I think I'm going to use the rivets to hold the gem things on and the leather to connect to the fingers. The problem I noticed was that they don't quite line up with the fingers, so it's not a straight shot. So what I decided I think I'll do is I'll drill the holes through there, figure out where it lines up with this, and then I'll cut tabs in the correct spot to lead to the fingers, so it doesn't have to be a straight line from the rivet to the finger. I'll cut the tab so it centers on the fingers. It's in the right spot. So let's get these holes drilled and mark this leather and then cut the tabs where they need to be. Alright, continuing on with the fingers. I finished the pointer finger here. So Here's where I did that leather and just corrected where because it wasn't centered. So this will be riveted right there. I haven't riveted these yet or welded it, but the metal working part is basically done. So moving on to the middle finger. Now I'm getting pretty quick at it. It's not a very difficult shaped piece. So once you kind of figure out what you want to do, it doesn't take too long. So continue onward. Alright, I finally got done making the pieces for the fingers. All shaping them anyway. Took a little while, but it wasn't very difficult. So now I need to go back and weld these seams and clean them up like on this one. So I'm going to do that. Alright, I got all my pieces done and cleaned up with the wire wheel. And now I need to figure out the little gemstones on the knuckles. So I just bought assorted little gem pieces, and I got this prototype I'm going to try and see if it'll work. So I'll put the drill hole through there, and that's how I'm going to rivet it straight to there. And then these square pieces, I'll just do a folded edge, and these sharp ones is what I'm going to bend over to grab onto that gem. So I'm going to mess with this and see if it'll work. Alright, I think I'm all done with the metal forming stage of this project. Got them all cleaned up with the wire wheel and all the holes drilled for everything. Got those little gem piece things ready to go. I'm going to have to rivet them on before I bend those little tabs over. Got this one ready. This kind of looks like a smashed bottle cap, I think, but I like it anyways. So now to heat them up with the weed burner and get them blued, and then assembly. Alright, I got it all blued, which was a close one. I almost ran out of propane right in the middle of it, but got through it. Turned out pretty good, I think. So now I think I'll start assembling, and starting with the fingers and maybe these pieces. I gotta think about what I do because it kind of has to do it in a specific order so I don't miss something. Let's start on that. Alright, I just got it tacked together here just to try it out. I did get the fingers riveted. They're not too bad. I think I'm going to end up having to shorten this little leather part just a little bit to keep those underneath the knuckle part. So next I think I'm going to put these pieces on the arm part. Get started on that. Alright, time to put these little gem holders on there. My hammer's too big to fit in there, so I just improvised a hammer with my vice grips and one of my punches. So just need to get this set. done. Turned out pretty good, I think. Thanks for watching. Till next time.